June Company. The office was really quiet that afternoon, except for the soft tapping of keyboards. You were sitting at your desk, your posture slightly hunched forward, fingers flying swiftly over the keyboard. Your brows was furrowed in deep concentration, your lips were pursed as you stared intently at your laptop screen. Your hands moved rapidly between your laptop and the small cabinet drawer beside you, pulling out neatly organized files. This was the most important project presentation of your career, one that could define your position in the company. Every detail had to be perfect, you couldn't afford any mistake. You exhaled sharply and muttered under your breath. Come on, Ryan, you can do it. Just one more slide. If you finish this, you will be done before. Suddenly, a familiar voice came in your ear and you paused mid speaking. You look beautiful today. Your fingers froze mid type. Slowly, you turned your head, startled to see a male employee, Taehyun, who was standing at the edge of your desk. He was smiling a little too comfortably, his gaze lingering on you in a way that made you subtly shift in your chair. You forced a polite, weak smile, professional but distant. Ah, thank you. But why are you here? You asked, your tone carefully neutral. He pulled a chair without asking and sat beside you, leaning forward slightly. I actually need your help with something. There is a data issue in my report and I can't figure it out. I know you are good with this stuff, Wayne. Could you take a look? Just for a while. I won't take a lot of your time. You hesitated. Your project deadline was tight and your boss had been especially strict about focus during work hours, but your kind nature won over and you decided to help him first, leaving your work in middle. Oh, sure, but let's make it quick. I really need to finish my presentation. You said softly, offering him a gentle smile. He smiled widely, looking at you. You move your chair slightly towards him to see his laptop screen, unaware of his shifting posture. You click through his spreadsheet, explaining in detail how to fix the errors. Here, see, if you adjust the formula like this, you guided your delicate fingers gliding over his keyboard. He leaned closer, his shoulder brushed against yours ever so slightly. You didn't notice at first, focused on explaining, but then his hand hit you and you stiffened slightly. Taehyun, could you please maintain some? You cleared your thread uncomfortably but kept your posture. After all, professionalism mattered. Then you heard the sharp voice of manager. Both of you looked up. Your boss manager, an elegant woman in her 30s, walked towards you. Her heels clicking against the marble floor. She crossed her arms and raised an eyebrow. The boss told everyone to complete their task independently. No help, no teamwork, especially today. So why are you sitting here bothering Wayne? He stood up reluctantly. I just go back to your desk, do your own work. Wayne is busy with her own project. She interrupted firmly. He said, "Choose you a sheepish smile and walked out, muttering under his breath. As soon as he left, you leaned back in your chair, exhaling deeply, finally able to breathe again. Wayne, the boss is calling you to his cabin personally. She whispered closer to you, her lips curled into an almost amused smile. Your heart skipped. You instantly knew what this was about. A smirk appeared on your lips. You tilted your head slightly, teasingly while crossing your leg over others. Tell him that I am busy. But come on, go on, tell him exactly that. Manager blinked at you, surprised but amused, then chuckled and nodded. As you wish, but you know about the consequences, right? You chuckled. I know. You winked, making her blush. You girl. She slapped on your shoulders playfully and walked away. As she left, you fake sad pouted, so Mr. CEO is keeping an eye on his employee again. You mutter to yourself, your cheeks turning red just like a fresh tomato. Inside the luxurious glass-walled cabin, Jungkook, the CEO of the company, your boss, and more importantly, your husband, was standing by his desk, his one hand resting in his pocket while his sharp black suit perfectly fitted around his broad shoulders. The manager entered and relayed your teasing words. For a moment, silence filled the cabin. Then Jungkook jaw tightened. He turned his head slowly, his sharp gaze falling on the floor, his lips curling into an incredulous smirk. So Miss Ryan thinks she can play. Seems like someone really needs. He muttered under his breath, almost amused. His finger tapped lightly against his desk, a mix of irritation and desire flashing in his eyes. He loosened his tie slightly, a habit he had whenever frustration got the better of him. All right. He muttered to himself, a smirk tugged at the corner of his lips. Meanwhile, you were typing fastly on the laptop when your phone buzzed on your desk. Jungkook's name flashed across the screen. You smiled to yourself, your fingers still moving swiftly over your laptop keys. No, not now, hubby. Let me tease you for a while. You muttered under your breath, hitting decline. Second later, it rang again. You declined again. Jungkook groaned and leaned back in his leather chair, holding the phone to his ear, only to hear it cut abruptly. His jaw flexed and a low chuckle escaped his lips, dark, dangerous, and amused. Letting out a frustrated sigh, he shrugged on his black coat, it smoothly, and stepped out of the office with commanding authority. The moment Jungkook walked out, the entire office buzzed. He scanned the room sharply until his gaze landed squarely on you. Your fingers froze on the keyboard. You slowly looked up only to meet that intense stare from your husband. He cleared his throat deliberately, his deep voice carrying across the office. Miss Ryan, would you mind coming to my cabin and listening to me properly? You gave hard, the room felt dead silent. Every employee nose stared at you, some with widened and some whispering behind their hands. No one knew about your marriage with Jungkook except his manager, who was also his cousin sister. Your lips parted, trembling slightly, embarrassed under everyone's gaze. You noticed slowly and shut down your laptop. Your hands trembled faintly as you stood smoothing your skirt nervously before walking towards him. Jungkook's smile widened ever so slightly, his dark eyes following every step. He turned smoothly and led the way back to his cabin. As soon as you entered, Jungkook shut the door behind you with a click. The sound echoed in the silent room, making your heart race. Before you could say a word, he shrugged off his coat and tossed it onto the couch. His gaze was sharp, piercing into your soul, and Rati, declining my calls, teasing me in front of everyone. He whispered huskily. You swallowed nervously, but your lips curled in a teasing smirk. Maybe, you whispered, challenging him despite your racing heart. His jaw clenched. Your breath hitched. Jungkook, what are you doing? Someone might. Let them, he muttered. Before he could proceed further, you both heard a sharp knock on the cabin door. You froze. Mr. Jungkook, open the door, please. It is urgent. Jungkook groaned deeply, pulling back slightly. Unbelievable timing. Your cheeks blushed red as you avoided his heated gaze. He went to open the door. What brought you here? He said sharply, irritation dripping from his tone. She stepped in, unaware of the storm she would just interrupted. The foreign investors will be there any moment. They have requested you personally for the meeting preparation. Jungkook groaned lowly, his head tilting back in frustration. Fine, give me 5 minutes, he muttered, clearly annoyed. But before he could turn back to you, you seized the chance with a mischievous grin. You slipped past him, your heels clicking on the polished floor. Wine, wait! He called sharply, his voice slow. You glanced over your shoulder at him, smirking teasingly. Work fast, Mr. CEO. You teased, winking playfully. Before darting out the door, he ran a hand down his face. After a while, you finally completed the assignment. You stretched your arms, feeling a wave of relief wash over you. The office felt suffocating after hours of intense focus, so you decided to take a quick break. You walked to the cafe area outside the main office floor, the aroma of freshly brewed coffee instantly soothing your senses. You tucked a strand of hair behind your ear and wrapped your hands around the warm cup, blowing gently on it before taking a sip. Just as you settled into one of the small corner tables, someone approached. You looked up to see Taehyun. Mind if I sit here? Suppressing a sigh, you nodded politely. Sure. He sat down across from you, fidgeting slightly. I actually wanted to talk to you, he began. You raised a brow curiously, sipping your coffee. Go on. He exhaled deeply, eyes downcast. I have been feeling so lonely lately. I guess I have been acting out of line because of that. You tilted your head slightly, studying him. Something about his words felt scripted to you. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. You replied softly, trying to be empathetic. He looked up at you with an oddly nervous smile. Honestly, you are lucky. Really lucky. I mean, the boss, as your husband, everyone knows he's a good man. He cares for you a lot. Your fingers froze around your cup. How do you know? Well, today he called me and told me that you are his. Let it be. I just guessed. You frowned and thought for a while, but soon understood the matter. You knew instantly this was not his idea. This had Jungkook written all over it. You leaned back in your chair, hiding your amusement. Oh, you guessed. You said, pretending to play along. He quickly nodded, almost as if he rehearsed. Yes, and I also wanted to apologize for earlier behavior. It was wrong of me. You smiled sweetly and waved your hand dismissively. It is fine, really. I don't hold grudges. You realized your mistake. I think that is enough for me. But in your mind, you were chuckling, whine to herself. Ah, Jungkook, you are unbelievable. After a few more awkward sentences, you walked back to the office. As you sat back at your workstation, you felt his gaze. You turned your head ever so slightly across the glass wall of his cabin. Jungkook was standing with his arm folded, watching you intently. His sharp jawline was clenched, his eyes narrowed, his expression unreadable but undeniably jealous. You met his gaze. Happy now? You muttered, looking at him. Jungkook's eyes darkened intently. He tilted his head slightly as if to say, just wait until later. Your pulse quickened, you turned back to your screen, smirking wider to yourself. After a while, the atmosphere in the office shifted instantly when the foreign clients arrived, Jungkook strode forward confidently to greet them. His sharp black suit was immaculate, his deep voice smooth and commanding as he shook hands and led them towards the grand meeting room. The manager clapped her hands, trying to catch everyone's attention. All right, department heads and involved team members, please proceed to the meeting room. Everyone nodded. You start clutching your laptop, the very heart of the presentation. Adjusting your dress, you walk towards the glass door of the meeting room. Just as you enter, you sense someone behind you. A glance confirmed that it was Taehyun who was walking in directly after you. The moment you stepped inside, you caught sight of Jungkook. He was mid-sentence, speaking flawlessly to the investors, but the second he saw you walk in with Taehyun trailing close behind, his forehead faltered just for a fraction of a second. Only you noticed it, that subtle pause. You couldn't help it. A mischievous smile played on your lips. You sat down across from him, carefully opening your laptop. But then, as Jungkook began explaining the project in his smooth, professional tone, you glanced intentionally at Taehyun beside you while noticing. Jungkook, who was staring at you time to time, you smiled and then smiled to Taehyun. Not just a polite smile, no, a slow, knowing smile, one you held a moment too long. From the corner of your eye, you saw it. Jungkook's hand tightened around the marker he was holding, his jaw ticking ever so slightly, but still speaking flawlessly to the clients. He glanced directly at you. You bit your lip to hide your amusement, and then it came. Miss Ryan, it is your time to present. Jungkook announced his voice echoing across the room. Everyone turned towards you. You stood confidently, laptop in hand, ready to walk towards the front, but before you could even begin, Jungkook stepped forward. He sat you down with him. Jungkook, you gazed softly, your eyes wide. The room went silent for a second. Every employee stared, stunned, then Weston blinked, exchanging amused glances. He said smoothly. Your eyes grew wider. Jungkook, you whispered sharply, cheeks burning. His voice was low enough for only you to hear. Why, you started the little game. Now let me finish it. Your pulse raised wildly as she started. They're waiting for you, Mayan. Continue. You gulp. You're trembling as you begin explaining the slides. Our project aims to increase efficiency by 20%. You clench your fist, struggling to stay composed in front of everyone. He chuckled. Concentrate, Miss Ryan, concentrate. He teased softly, running his finger through your hair deliberately in front of everyone, your cheeks burned crimson. Could feel the curious glances of employees. Your voice trembled as you continued. By implementing streamline, Jungkook, you whispered, mortified, but he only smiled. I told you not to test me, didn't I? You gulped. After 10 minutes, you somehow made it through the rest of the presentation, stuttering through your words while Jungkook smiled. When it finally ended and the clients applauded, good job, Mrs. Jeon, he murmured, and the room filled with applause. By your presentation. Excellent work. Jungkook smiled politely and nodded. One by one, the clients and employees exited the meeting room, their chatter fading into the hallway. You shifted slightly. You whispered, glancing nervously at the glass walls of the meeting room. You smirked slightly because I enjoy teasing you. His jaw clenched. Enjoy it while you can because from now on, I won't let you enjoy. He murmured darkly. Before you could respond, he stood up. You both entered in his cabin. You do so bad to my heart. You think this is funny, Yin? He asked, his voice low, dangerously smooth. You looked up at him, heart pounding but lips curling. Maybe that was all of it took. You gulp, remembering. You looked at him with your innocent puppy eyes, but there was no use now.